Alright, so the first thing I do is I get my bag of lentils, whoops, and I put them in a bowl. And I usually use about half a bag at a time because, I mean, for the four of us, we don't really need that many. But if I was making for more people, I would use the whole bag. Um, but I would put them in a bowl, and then I'm gonna fill the bowl with some water. So basically what I'm doing is just washing them out a bit and rinsing them out. Sometimes you'll get like little tiny rocks that come in there, like little pebbles or something. Um, and just like the husks of the lentils, and I kind of just like to wash that out, make sure that they're nice and clean. And then finally I'll fill it up with water and just let it sit. Meanwhile, the lentils are soaking. I am going to cook my meat. I get ground beef. I tried it with ground turkey before, but we usually make it with ground beef. It just gives it the best flavor, I guess. Make sure your stove is on medium-high heat. And I tried to play with the lighting to see what was better, but I kind of liked it with the light off. So you want to make sure to chop up your meat really good and break it up. I usually get the long tubes of meat of ground beef, so it's a little bit harder to like chop up real good. But yeah, you basically just let it brown after you chop it up a bit. So after your meat is nice and brown, you're going to drain out all the fat and juices. And I forgot to film it, but I did put a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm going to add a packet of sazon goya. This is my favorite seasoning, so you guys are going to see me use it a lot. I usually use this unless it's like a recipe that uses specific seasonings, but more than likely if I'm making some type of meat dish or chicken or whatever, I usually use the sazon goya. And then we're going to put in ground cumin. This is the main flavor for this dish, but I do add it about half a teaspoon at a time just because it could get really overpowering. So, you know, just adjust it to your flavor, but I like to usually add a little bit at a time just in case. Then we're going to mix it all up. After the meat is all mixed up, we're going to add the lentils with the water that it was sitting in. And then I'm going to add some more water. You want to add enough so that it just barely covers the top of your lentils and your meat. And you could turn your heat to medium low. And you want to make sure you mix it all in real good. And then I add one more packet of sazon goya. And then I add another half a teaspoon of cumin. I will put down the exact measurements of the seasonings in the description box. I usually don't measure my seasonings. I like to do it by taste, but for the sake of the video, I will put the measurements. So while the meat and lentils are on the stove, we are going to peel a potato. I usually like to use a medium to large potato, and the first thing we're going to do is peel it all. And after you rinse it up, you are going to chop it up into small chunks. And after you chop it all up, you should have a nice little potato mountain like this, and then we're going to add it to our pot. Then you're going to mix it all up, put a lid on it, and leave it for about 30 minutes. If you start noticing that your water is evaporating, just add a little more water, enough to, you know, just cover the top of it, and then put the lid back on and keep cooking. And I wouldn't be a mommy if I didn't have background noise of my babies crying. So they'll usually take about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to fully cook, and they should look something like this. Just a little bit saucy, but not like really watery or soupy or anything. And of course you want to do a taste test to make sure that the seasonings and everything is spot on. And mine actually needed a little bit more cumin because, like I said, cumin is the main flavor for this dish. So I added another teaspoonful, or like 2 half teaspoons, so equals to 1 teaspoon. I also added a little bit more salt and pepper because I guess when I put in the potatoes and when I added some more water, it made it taste a little bit bland. So a little bit more salt and pepper went in. Mix it all up. One more taste test. And that's it. It's done. And I served it alongside of some yellow rice and a nice little salad. We usually add some plantains, but I didn't have any this time. But that's it. That's how we make our lentils.